Just playing some Cold War, and kind of want to just talk about something real quick. Hopefully, this video is not gonna be too long. But I just wanted to talk about Blue Box Game Studios because it's just really interesting to me that there's like so much going on, and this dude running around with the hand cannon, and nobody's saying anything. Like nobody that's supposedly involved in this project is stepping forward and talking about what's going on. So I mean, I guess we could start with what happened just recently. Essentially, I'll bring up the recent stuff up to speed here. A game called Abandoned got announced. Had a interesting trailer. Like 2 months later, they talked about how there's going to be a real-time trailer coming soon on the PS5 because it's a PS5 exclusive. There's going to be a real-time rendered trailer of the game, and from there, people started digging into the original announcement of the game. Found out that the assets used were just standard store-bought assets that anybody could buy, anybody could upload. And so it started creating this buzz about, well, so far we don't really know anything about this game that supposedly is a PlayStation exclusive for the PS5. And it has brought us to interviews that didn't really answer anything, but did create more questions. So from there, we go to the trailer that was supposed to happen. The not announcement trailer, but the actual trailer we're supposed to get, and it led with a delay. It was supposed to be, I think, like April. We're supposed to get the trailer. It got delayed to June, I think, and then from there it got delayed to August. And after that, it got delayed a couple more days, and then we finally got it. Alright. And so, in the trailer was a 4-second nothing. So in the background, people are just connecting all these dots to Silent Hill, Metal Gear Solid. And that whole sector, like that whole portion of the I guess conspiracy all kicked off with guys running around with a nade pinned and ready to go. That all kicked off with Blue Box Game Studios tweeting that the name Abandon was not the real name of the game, and instead the name of the game started with an S and ended with an L. And so people started saying, well, the only thing that's like a cinematic horror game that wants to maybe promote realism, that would be a PlayStation exclusive, would be Silent Hills. People think that the real-time trailer that they discussed was going to be just like PT. And so then they started like kind of going back and looking at all these kind of like little coincidences that Kojima and Konami were involved in the project for this little indie studio. And so yeah, that really sparked like a lot of debate, a lot of conspiracies around that. With let's see. After that, there was a couple of days, like not like an hour later after that post went out, but like 4 days later, they then made a post saying, "Oh, the game we're working on it's not Silent Hill. It's not related to any of that," and that was really bizarre because, why would you wait 4 days? Maybe you're trying to drum up some hype, maybe. But then why would you go and completely demolish that with some, you know, boring basic statement. It wasn't like anything official. It was really a called in kind of way of saying that that's not the game we're working on. And then I think it was a week after that initial title, starts with an S, ends with an L, tweet. A week after that tweet, they deleted that tweet. So they kept that tweet up, knowing that it was causing issues. Until a week after, you know, the conspiracy started, and that kind of just gave more credence. They're just saying, you know, hey, this isn't our game, you know, but still saying that this is the title of the game, you know. Yeah, so that didn't really help. And then, you know, they kind of go back and forth on some stuff. They're like, you know, they started saying, oh, we're getting like a lot of barrage of people, you know, DMing us and stuff. And it's like, you know, I get it's kind of crazy, but, you know, then they'll, the main guy, Hassan, he said like multiple times, oh, we'll do a Q&A with the indie studio, you know, our developers here, and we'll show you that, you know, we're real people and we're not like a fake studio set up to advertise a Silent Hill game. And that was like 3-4 months ago now. Nothing. Still haven't got that Q&A. We haven't got a live stream. We've gotten so far, I think, maybe two videos of Hassan talking, and then maybe one picture of him. And yeah, no Q&A that, you know, I'm not saying we were promised a Q&A, but if he really wanted, if he or if Blue Box really wanted to clear this up, that's all they would have had to do. You know, they would have really just had to, you know, reach out and say, you know, something, you know, something more convincing than, we're not Konami, we're not Silent Hill. You know, it's like, come on. And, you know, people take this way too far. They're taking this way too serious. It's like, yeah, kind of, but then they go, Blue Box goes and posts a, like a blurred image of a character that looks just like another Kojima character from Metal Gear Solid, the franchise. And again, instead of removing the post, they kept it up. They kept it up, and they're like, oh, it's not related. You know, it's like very wink, wink, nudge, nudgy, and very bizarre. And so let me backtrack a bit, because now this is, you know, I wasn't gonna go through all of this, but now I'm on a rant. So going back to when the trailer, in between, like, I think it was in between when the announcement happened back in, I believe, April. They did, Blue Box did like a Q&A with some random people, and they said that they were backed by Sony, I guess, financially, or, you know, the studio or whatever backed Blue Box. Who, you know, we don't know, like, we don't know the specifics of that kind of deal, right? All we know is that Hassan, who was there doing the interview, or, you know, with whatever website it was, Hassan said that they were backed by Sony. Again, this is a PS5 exclusive, backed by Sony, doing a real-time trailer that the only other, like, significant one that has ever, like, been announced that has ever happened was the PT one. You know, Xbox doesn't do anything like this ever, so it's not like, it just doesn't happen. So it's very weird that this is the only other time that this kind of trailer has happened. Yeah, so backed by Sony, a little indie dev, and on top of that, he said that they had like 7 support studios helping them. Like, what? You're telling me that Sony just went up to some random developer that had an idea and not just assisted them with like getting their game like a real-time trailer, but also partnered with them. They partnered with them and financially supported this game. So what it sounds like is like outright is like Sony's funding pretty much the whole project. And yeah, so since that kind of Q&A, Sony hasn't said anything about Abandon or Blue Box Game Studios. Konami, the owners who own the IP of Silent Hill, they haven't said anything about this being a fake game for, you know, Konami, or this being a just an actual indie game. They haven't said anything. And lastly, the only other party involved here, Kojima, he hasn't said anything either. In fact, throughout this whole ordeal, over the past, I don't know, like 4 or 5 months, Kojima's like posted like little teasers and maybe not teasers, but I don't know, little connections to this whole like conspiracy, and not stepping in and not stopping it. And the thing that blows my mind about all of this is like damaging all of their reputations. Like Sony, people are getting mad at Sony, people are getting mad at Konami, people are getting mad at Kojima. Blue Box is the only one that's denied any of this, and the others either, I mean, they have to care somewhat because it's damaging their you know, their name and potential future sales and stuff. But the only reason why they wouldn't like say anything is because they know that there's something going on here. I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense to be anything else. I mean, people say Sony's not stepping in and saying anything because they've had previous things where they previous like errors that they've made, such as like No Man's Sky, a game that was supposed to have like all these features, and then when it came out didn't, and that was a first party studio from Sony, and so Sony would have had direct like observation of it. But the thing with No Man's Sky is it came back as like it made a real comeback, and those devs stuck with the game and pushed to make that game what they said that it would be, and maybe even more. So I don't know, I don't really understand that debate, like saying that Sony knew that No Man's Sky was bad but still released it anyway. It's like, you know, it was a studio that, yes, was partnered with Sony, but it's not like they completely ignored the existence of the game. I remember it because my brother was really excited and he really loves that game. I think it's his favorite game. And from what I remember from the marketing is that they marketed the game as they would any other game. Oh, it's No Man's Sky, you know? Even if it did have like a rough launch, in like a whole first year was pretty rough. But yeah, Sony is completely ignoring the fact that Abandon exists. And it's so bizarre. Because, you know, you'd think if you're supporting the studio to release a real-time trailer for a game, that you would want to help advertise it more than just the studio they're literally, the Blue Box Studios, there's no, like, you're not seeing ads for it on YouTube. These people are hearing about this game purely through their Twitter and through people talking about what's going on their Twitter. There's nothing else that's like, I mean, besides the initial announcement trailer that went on YouTube. Aside from that happened, you know, 4 or 5 months ago, there's nothing more than their Twitter that is drumming up all of this craziness. And, you know, the fact that Sony's not stepping in and saying anything is just, oh, I hit my mic. It's just wild. It blows my mind. I don't know. Um, before I wrap this up, I want to talk about briefly one more thing regarding the announcement and the interview that Hassan gave, all those months ago. Is that this game had a 2021 release date. I think it was either like quarter 4 or something, or it was just 2021. And so now we're supposed to believe that this indie studio that announced the game that's supported by Sony and Sony hasn't talked about it is supposed to release this year, and it's supposed to get this supposed to run 4K 60 frames per second on the PS5 with realistic graphics for a horror game. It's not just a horror game. Let me correct that. It's a survival horror game with realism in the survival aspect. We're like, there's so much going on with this potential game that it doesn't make any sense for Sony not to say anything. Whether or not this game is real, because we still haven't seen anything that's real. The only thing that we've seen is not a gameplay, is a trailer that included store stock assets that people dug into. It was store stock assets in the announcement trailer, and a title, Abandon, that they said is not even the real title. They still haven't announced the title, and they have a real-time trailer app for this thing. Is that not like the weirdest stuff you've ever seen? Nobody like actually mentions that aspect of this whole conspiracy. The fact that we haven't seen video of the actual game, and the fact that we don't even have the title of the game yet, and it's still supposed to release this year, and it's still backed by Sony, and Sony still hasn't said anything about this whole situation. There's like so many. I mean, I don't even know if I'd call it red. I mean, I guess they are red flags, but of what? And that brings me to what's happened in the past few days. In the past few days, we finally got that trailer we were promised that was supposed to come out like 2 months ago, and it was a 4-second video that they posted 3 days prior. 2 days prior. I think it was 2 days prior to them saying that that video was going to come out. They posted that same video that we waited for on Twitter 2 days before. I mean, yeah, I repeated that, but I'm trying to bring emphasis to that. Does that make any sense? I mean, so here's what people think is going on. And we're at 18 minutes. I'm going to try to talk about this quick, but there's just so much that has happened with this. It's hard to just talk about it briefly. Lately, people have dug into the idea of this not being like a Konami, Kojima, Silent Hill conspiracy, or some secret IP that Sony is working on under the guise of a fake studio named Blue Box that's actually some, AAA game. People think it's a scam, like a full-on scam, not like a partial scam, I don't know what a partial scam is. I guess they make a game, but it's nothing like promised. They're saying that this is a full-on scam, that they are bamboozling I guess all of Sony, because this has to go through so many reps to get, to get partnered and to go through like legal and sign documents and stuff, and to get the partnership afoot. I mean, come on, you'd have to bamboozle not just like a whole studio, but like a whole company. Like Sony doesn't just do video games and that's that. They also do, like movies and You know, I think they have like phones and stuff. Like this is a huge corporation, not just like one studio that focuses on video games. So like, and I'm not saying that everything goes through everybody to get approved, but you know, this company knows what they're doing. You know, to a pretty high degree, I would imagine. And yeah, I just don't think that they would get bamboozled like this. But the reason why people think it's a scam is because Blue Box Game Studios is released, like, sorry, not released, but has advertised and pushed for like 5 separate games to be released since 2015. A couple of months after PT released, funny enough. So, a game studio, India Game Studio, tries to release 5 games, and you know, there's like 2 that got released, but they're not even like really games. However, like 4 of those games is actually one game. If you kind of, all 4 of those games have the same premise, and it seems just like one game that evolved into like 4 different attempts of being like realized and released. And one of the games was like a mobile game that looked like some anime stuff with stolen assets again. I don't know. I'm not saying like, I don't know. The earliest thing that people find from Blue Box Studios is, I think, like February of 2015. And that's like a couple of months after PT was released, and I think around the same time that it got officially announced that it was canceled. So maybe before it was officially announced that it was canceled, you know, Konami or not Konami, Kojima like knew. I don't know, and you know, like made a fake studio. I don't think that's the case. I don't know what's going on. I think if you want to believe that it's still Kojima or Konami or something, I think what the best way to explain those old games is that either Konami like made the studio and you know, and slowly hinted at, or slowly, and at least to him, kept a studio alive that could possibly be a ruse for later. Because all those games that they made had that same premise of paranormal investigators, or a paranormal investigation in the story. So either he did that, or he bought a studio that was, you know, has been licensed this whole time, that's been wanted to make a game, and he just hired whoever was left to, I don't know, to be the face of this fake studio. I think if this become I mean, I think that's the most likely, if that, you know, if that's the case, that Silent Hills is back. I think Kojima would have bought a studio that just never made it, that never got the finances that they wanted to make a game, and hired them to essentially advertise for maybe not their game that they always wanted, but you know, a successful product that they can be known for, you know, even if it's kind of for I mean, we've been dragged along for like 5 months now. I think the name Blue Box Game Studios, if they're just some indie dev making a game and it's not a good game, they're gonna be damaged and they'll never be able to, you know, market a successful product. If this turns out to be one big conspiracy and it's true, then, you know, I guess the name Blue Box Game Studios, their integrity doesn't really matter. Hassan, the only person that we know officially works for Blue Box, I mean, who knows? Who knows? Overstressed dev that plays into the thing, and I don't think this is a full-on scam. I think if it's not Kojima, then it's got to be Sony with a secret IP, either something we know or something new that they're just not ready to, they're not stepping in because this is what they're planning to do. You know, I get, you know, I kind of said my piece, but you know, just to wrap up, I this is so crazy to me that I just don't understand. You know, if this is some big fraud, some big something, or it's just an indie studio making a game and their marketing is the worst I've ever seen, why hasn't anybody stepped in? Why is Kojima, why is he just like kind of playing along? You know, he posts some random stuff that people read into being Silent Hill teases with Blue Box, and he doesn't deny him. He doesn't, you know, agree with them, but he doesn't deny him, and he still does it. You know, Konami, they haven't said anything. All we know about Konami is that one developer, which is believed to be Blooper, or unofficially is Blooper, or something like that. I don't know the studio. And then there's a second one that's been a second Silent Hill IP that's been announced for, or not announced, but leaked to be being developed, and that was a year ago. So who knows? Who knows at what point that second IP started development? You know, we still don't have a name from the leaks of who is developing it. Yeah, I mean, if this just turns out to be some random game, I don't know. I think Sony's really shooting themselves in the foot by not stepping in and saying, hey guys, just wait for the reveal, or, you know, they're not even mentioning Abandon, which isn't even the title of the game. Okay, I'm about to end it, but that still blows my mind. How have they not announced? The game starts with an S and ends with an L. Well, if you have the title, which we don't even know, why not just announce the title when people said it was Silent Hill? Why would you keep dragging people along? I don't know. I have no reason of explanation. Is it horrible marketing? Well, you're having a lot of people that were interested in your game that are going to never purchase it specifically because your marketing is so bad. Why not just announce the title of the... I mean, the trailers... I mean, I don't know. The trailer app came out, still no announcement of the title. In fact, the real-time trailer app is still called Abandon, when we know as a fact that's not the title of the actual game. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I was like 100% thinking it was Kojima. Now I'm kind of like, I'm about 70% sure that it's Kojima or Silent Hill or something's going on there, and I'm 30% that it's some random game that just has bad marketing from the devs. I don't know what else it could be. I mean, I don't think it's a scam, again, because this is hurting the reputation of 3 other companies that are not stepping in and saying anything. So, you know, I'm going to leave it at that. Let me know what you think. This was a long rant, but I think it needs to be talked about, and not like a, oh, you're right, I'm wrong kind of thing, but like, here's the facts. You know, pretty much all of what I said were facts. I mean, essentially everything I said was a fact. Non-deniable. So, I don't know. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's anything that, you know, you want me to discuss. This is just so weird to me that nobody's stepping in and saying anything. But I'll see you next time.